Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Johnny's Life and Travel. And once again today we are looking at AMD, the stock, and see where it's going to go in the future. Again, the past week, you can see in front of me there's the chart for the past week. So you got Monday, I think Tuesday was off, Independence Day in America. So you got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So 4 days there, and it's ended the week up compared to last week. Now I have started, I've done this video now. It's Monday, so I'm recording this. So a little bit later, I've been kind of busy. I think next week is going to be the same thing, really busy with other things. So I haven't had really time to keep my schedule to Saturdays, guys. So I apologize for that. But anyway, we'll just continue, and I'll try and get this back on track at some point. But for now, it's going up this Monday. We're at pre-market is 1.27% up. We're at 13.53, but it did go higher than that on Friday. It was at 13.7, I think. I mean, even though it shows 13.65 on this, yeah, there you go, 13.7. That was the high point there, and then it came down again and ended the day low. I think it does continue to go up higher, mainly because I don't think everyone still believes. So if you look at all the articles, so you got Jim Cramer here, who says where's he gone? AMD. So Jim Cramer says AMD is a long-term story. I think Cramer he likes the stock because it's because of its long-term plan. So basically, they have no belief that there's any short-term upside. What else can I show you? So again, you got this Ryzen Pro. Ryzen Pro was launched recently, and there wasn't a great deal of press about it. There was no huge announcements, like they had with Epic. There was no presentation on stage with the OEMs coming out, all that kind of stuff. It was just there, they didn't bother to do much. But again, I think a lot of profit will be made from that, and that'll show in the coming quarters. And that is ahead of schedule, because that was meant to come out in the third quarter. So we are, I think, this is, so what are we on? The first quarter was that, so we're in the second quarter, and then so let me think. So it was May was the earnings, right? May the 1st, June, July, and August. So I think about July time. Yeah, so it is ahead of schedule. Maybe touching at the end of Q2, maybe Q3, beginning of Q3. So it's possible, but it's slightly earlier, let's say, best case scenario. So still early, still has good potential. And you can see on here it says, where's it gone? There's Ryzen Pro. Yeah, there's Ryzen Pro, and that's over Q3 and Q4. So it's meant to be between that time frame, but I think it's between Q2 and Q3 now, so it's coming ahead of schedule. So it's got new security features apparently, and it's a new processor that's coming out, and nobody really takes it seriously because not many people got any press about it or knew much about it before it came out. So what else have we got? We got Quant Asset Management. They bought shares of AMD, so again, somebody at least has some faith in it. They didn't buy a huge amount, it's only 295,000 shares, which isn't huge. Holding 2.5, so I don't know if they bought more, but they do have that amount of shares. What else do we have here? Yeah, so basically this is a new story about how, what was it, Merrill Lynch saw the stock and saw AMD, and basically they believe that, so let's see, Intel is still well in the lead and at the top end of servers. But what Merrill sees is AMD potential disruption in the low to mid-range market in servers. In an end-of-week call, he maintained Merrill Lynch a neutral rating on Intel and maintained its buy rating on AMD. Surprisingly, the firm's price objective still implies upside in both stocks, despite the neutral rating on Intel. So I don't think anybody believes that AMD can lead in any way in the top end server market, and I get the sense that it's same again for the gaming and the CPU market. So So what does this article say? It says at this point AMD's best bet is likely to not even try to compete with behemoths like Intel and Nvidia. Instead, concentrate on the lower end market where it's always succeeded, right? So they don't even think AMD has a chance. So this is why I keep thinking, my price target is pretty reasonable, and the reason why it hasn't got there, my price target was $17 to $20, and the reason why it hasn't got there is because people still doubt. Even when the writing's on the wall, there will be doubters out there thinking, well, it's not gonna either maintain that level, or it's not even gonna go there, or it was a fluke. It's like they'll come out with any kind of reason, but they're not going to accept that. Okay, they've done well. They have products that compete there, and they have good staying power. Because if you look at right now, they're on the 14 nanometer architecture, and then next year or the year after, they're gonna have the I think it's next year 17, and it's gonna be 7 nanometer, right? So they're gonna have 7 nanometer. They're skipping the 10 nanometer. That's what Intel's doing. They'll do 7 nanometer, which means that the die will be a lot smaller, so they can fit more on there, maybe more memory bandwidth, whatever it is, right? Which means, again, because it's smaller, it should take less electricity, less energy, more energy efficient, right? Which means less power and so on. So again, and because of the agreements they have, they'll beat everyone on price to performance, and they have a good chance of making it in top end. I think this year is just the setup. Next year is going to be the real CPU that's going to be coming on, Ryzen 2 maybe, and that will crush everything. So I don't think people account for all of that. And then that's based on, again, remember, they're basing all this on the information that they know right now. And I think AMD's figures, so their projections for earnings and profit margins is conservative. I think it's very conservative. And nobody's thinking about the earnings beats. So how many times they're going to be earnings to come. So they haven't been priced that in. So there's a lot that hasn't been priced in. There's a lot that has been priced in. They've already launched Ryzen. They've already launched Vega Frontier Edition. So based on that, people are making a bit of a judgment about where RX Vega will be. But again, there was a leak about RX Vega that came out, and it's as expected. I couldn't find the article to show you on here, but there is a YouTube video as well on it about the leak. But it basically came between the 1080, NVIDIA's 1080 and 1080 Ti, which is where I thought it would be anyway. And I don't expect them to beat NVIDIA. I just expect them to this time around be at the top end, have a presence there, give the option to the customer to buy them at a cheaper price for very similar performance to NVIDIA, right? So I think they'll beat NVIDIA on price, and that's what will shift more units, and that's how they'll gain market share on that side for now. Later on, they may beat NVIDIA in graphics, because remember, they're going to go to the 7 nanometer architecture, and then that'll be even more energy efficient and so on, and so they can put more wattage into it and get to overclock better, or maybe even get 2 dies. Remember, they have Infinity Fabric. If that works well with it, have 2 GPUs on there working side by side and giving double the power, right, through Infinity Fabric. That could happen. Just think about that. So right now it's between the 1080 and 1080 Ti. Later on, next year, when the die gets even smaller, remember, from 14 to 7 nanometer, that's what's half the size. So why couldn't they just get 2 of those 7 nanometer dies and put them on one chipboard, right, and use Infinity Fabric with it? And there you go. Now you have something that's twice the speed, right? And can NVIDIA beat that? I don't know. Maybe do they have any similar technology? I haven't seen anything. They may come out with a surprise of their own. Who knows? So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt as well. But overall, it's looking pretty good for AMD in the high end, and then to stay there. So I think if they continue the way they're doing, they'll do pretty well. And there's a lot of people that don't have faith, and that's fine. That's up to them. But for me, I think it goes higher from here. So what will happen around earnings? I think earnings will be a beat, but again, remember, this is a very volatile stock, so it could go up and down. there's two parts of it. One is the fundamentals of the company and how the company is going and how the management team is executing. That I think is all fine. You don't have to worry about any of that. The other part that I do worry about is, the people, the traders online, the investors. What's the sentiment with them? They see a negative news story, the stock plummets. They see a positive news story, the stock goes back up. So it's very up and down based on that. It's human emotion that's affecting it right now. If there was any logical, reasonable way of thinking about it, then it would be going up like, diagonally, just keep going up and up and up. It wouldn't be, going up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's where we are. What else can I say? Nvidia's gone down quite a bit. It was at 160. It's gone down to 146. I'll just cover that a little bit. I think it's a buy at 110. 110, 115, something like that, if you want to buy into that. Tesla's come down. I think that was at 360 or something. But I think Tesla is a buy at 250 or below. That's a buy, and you'll see it'll double up pretty much. I have faith in Elon Musk. He's pretty good. Nvidia is pretty good as well in its own right. It's just it's run up too high. It's like top of the mountain type of stuff, and it's really scary. So AMD, by and large, looks very, very attractive compared to both of those. Mobileye was on my list. It's been bought out by Intel. So in the future, you'll see some progress from Intel on that side. So they may lose market share on this side, on the desktop CPUs and integrated GPU side. But longer term, they've positioned themselves well for the self-driving side of it, because Mobileye is a very good chip maker. What was it? Professor Amun Shashua, whatever his name is, in Israel. He's the one who's developed the chip, and he's doing good stuff. He's actually dealing with they're trying to deal with a scenario where you have traffic in third world countries where there's no traffic lights really, nobody obeys the street signs, and it's like a free-for-all, and you have to get through that without killing anyone. Don't know how they manage it, but they do. And he's trying to design the camera system and the CPU, upgrade software and so on, to cope with that kind of scenario. And if it can get through that, it can get through anything. Yeah, seriously, I mean, that is like really hectic. I mean, you got donkey on one side, rickshaw on the other side in India. You got all kinds of stuff going on. People walking as well, cars, motorcycles, bicyclists, everything. So he's doing pretty good. And they're positioning themselves well with that. I think they did a good job by buying it. So overall, I see AMD going up, guys. If you're holding it, keep on holding it. If you, if you want to sell it on a Monday, buy it on a Friday. These are just general things that I've observed. I have one person who is interested, because we're in profit right now. Somebody wanted some money out. I have a few investors with me, so I'm going to be cashing out a little bit today, not a lot. It's a couple of hundred shares. And my holdings is about 5,000, about nearly 6,000 shares. So a couple of hundred shares will be sold out just to give that person some money, so they can enjoy themselves. They want to take a holiday. The rest of us are all holding. And that person, he hasn't sold all his position. It's just a small piece, and the rest of it's still in there. So yeah, everyone with me, nobody's ever said to me, sell, I'm scared or whatever. They understand it. I explain it very well that, look, this is where I see the stock going. These are the reasons. These are the products they're bringing out. This is what the current market share is. This is where I see the market share going in the future. So based on all that, I've got 3 other investors, and they're all holding. Nobody's even mentioned selling, even after the May the 1st big fall. All right, there is sense to hold. So guys, if you're in it, hold it. Okay, that's it for today. I mean, this hasn't been as long as normal, but guys, take care. I'll see you next time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Danny out.